She said she worked from home, waved at the neighbors, fed the stray cat that slept near the mailbox. They smiled back, waved, asked about the weather. She always answered politely, short sentences, warm smile. She never joined the street barbecues, never invited anyone over. She paid her HOA dues early. Her lawn was perfectly trimmed. Everyone called her Emily. No one knew her last name. The house was small, tidy, curtains always drawn, but lights on at the right hours. The mail never piled up, no packages, no visitors, and no noise. You'd pass by her place and wonder if she even lived there, if not for the cat, a gray tabby with a torn ear, always sleeping on her front steps, always fed on time. Brandon, the kid from 2 doors down, once joked she was probably a ghost. His dad had replied, "She's the quiet kind, doesn't mean anything." Mrs. Powell said, "She's harmless, just private," and that was that. Until the van came. It was a Wednesday. Sun high, wind low, trash day. Emily had just rolled her bin out to the curb. She wore jeans, plain sneakers, a faded green hoodie that said nothing on it. No makeup, hair pulled back tight. She waved to old Mr. Jenkins across the street. He raised a hand, smiled like always. Then it happened. A black van, no markings, tinted windows, turned the corner fast, too fast for the neighborhood. Emily stopped, bin still in her hand. The van didn't pass. It stopped, right in front of her house. The door slid open. 3 men stepped out, all dressed in plain clothes. Not casual, not tactical, just forgettable. The kind of forgettable that gets remembered later, when people realize something was off. One of them spoke. "Ma'am, we need you to come with us." Emily didn't move, didn't blink, just tilted her head slightly. "I'm not who you're looking for." The man took 1 step forward. "Please don't make this difficult." The neighborhood was still. No one shouted. No one intervened. It was too quiet to be real. Then Emily let go of the trash bin. It tipped, rolled a little. She took a step back. Then another. The man followed. His hand reached for her arm. That was his mistake. In one motion, Emily twisted sideways, grabbed his wrist, pivoted her body, and dropped him with a snap. The sound of bone, clean and violent. He screamed, collapsed. Before the other 2 moved, she was already sifting. A knee to the stomach, palm to the jaw, a trip, a turn. 1 down, 2 down. The third reached under his coat. Emily moved faster. She ducked, swept his legs. He hit the ground, hard. She straddled him, pressed 2 fingers to his throat. "Don't." He froze. "You don't know who I am," she said. I know enough." "No, you know my file." She leaned closer. That file was redacted for a reason. She stood. The man didn't move. She looked at the van, its engine still running. She walked to it, checked the back, empty. No restraints, just duct tape, rope, zip ties, standard grab bag. She sighed. Amateurs. A car alarm went off 3 streets away. The world started moving again. Mr. Jenkins had dropped his coffee. Mrs. Powell was on the phone. Someone screamed, "Call the cops!" But Emily? She just stepped back into her house, closed the door, locked it once, twice, then disappeared behind the curtain. Inside, her pulse was steady. She walked to the kitchen, moved the fruit bowl aside, opened the floor vent underneath, pulled out a black case. Inside, a compact pistol, a thumb drive, a key marked A7, and a folded piece of paper. She opened it. It was blank, until she tilted it under the light. Then the message appeared. "Active signal detected. Time to move." She sighed, walked upstairs, opened the closet, took down a duffel bag, already packed. Clothes, cash, passport, tools. She opened the nightstand, pulled out a photograph. 4 women, all in uniform, smiling. She stared at it for 5 seconds, then slid it into the duffel. Outside, sirens echoed. She didn't care. She opened the back door, slipped through the fence, and vanished. They didn't expect her to fight back. That was their first mistake. The second was assuming the neighborhood wouldn't notice. By morning, local police were crawling around the black van, taking photos they didn't understand. The three men had vanished or been removed. Emily wasn't home, but someone had been watching. In a white sedan parked 2 blocks away, a man with steel gray hair chewed on the end of a pen. Not nervously, rhythmically, like a tick he couldn't shake. He held a photo, Emily, from years ago, in uniform, desert fatigues, no name tag, just a timestamp, 2009, Kandahar. The man's phone buzzed. He didn't look at it. He spoke aloud, voice low. She's awake. 2 hours away, in a secure facility built into the side of a cliff, someone else was watching footage. Surveillance, street-level cams, body cam from the van crew. They played the takedown twice, then a third time, frame by frame. Each strike, each movement, precision, non-lethal, calculated. She hadn't lost a step. The woman watching leaned back, black hair tied tight, eyes that didn't blink unless required. She tapped her earpiece. She went cold 7 years ago, and now she takes out a snatch team like it's basic training. A voice replied, "You think she knew?" She knew the second they stepped out. She's been waiting. "Should we send another team?" She paused, then stood. "No, I'm going myself." Back in the woods, Emily walked fast but calm. She didn't run, didn't look back. She changed jackets behind a tree, left the green one draped over a branch. She crossed a creek, stepped onto a dirt road, and walked for exactly 2.3 miles. At the bend, an old station wagon waited under a tarp. She uncovered it, punched in a code behind the license plate. The engine clicked to life. By the time the sun was overhead, she was 50 miles out. No cameras, no toll booths, no digital footprint. The thumb drive sat in the cup holder, encrypted, isolated. She didn't plug it in, didn't need to. She already knew what it said. The activation signal meant one thing. Someone knew where she was and wanted her moving again. She parked behind an abandoned diner. Not just any diner, that diner, where they'd first recruited her, where she was handed her first name that wasn't hers, where she signed something with ink that never really dried. Inside, it smelled like mildew and rust. She sat at the last booth, same one as before, opened a panel under the table, found what she hoped wouldn't be there, a fresh envelope. She slid it out, opened it. Inside, a photo of a man, mid-40s, buzzed hair, thick neck, broken nose. Name on the back, Silas Vinn. Status, active, freelance. Objective, recover, contain, or eliminate subject known as Echo. Emily stared at the word. She hadn't heard it in years, didn't think they still used it. Echo, her old call sign. Not a name, a warning. She tucked the photo into her coat, stood, turned, and froze. At the far end of the diner, a woman stood in the doorway, tall, calm, wearing black, eyes like a scalpel. Emily didn't reach for a weapon, didn't move. The woman nodded once. "Hello, Echo." Emily replied softly, "That name's retired." "Not anymore." They sat across from each other. No menus, no coffee, just air between them. The woman spoke first. "We didn't send the van." Emily raised an eyebrow. "But you know who did. Freelancers. Someone's leaking old files. Pieces of you are floating. And you let them come after me?" "We needed to see if you were still functional." Emily leaned back. "You've been watching." The woman didn't deny it. "We don't let assets vanish, Echo. We just let them sleep." "I'm not an asset." "You're what happens when control breaks down." Silence. Then Emily asked, "What do you want?" "A trade." "For what?" The woman slid a flash drive across the table. "Location, Ven, tonight. You go in, you end it, and we bury the name one last time." Emily stared at the drive. "Why not send your own?" "Because he knows your rhythm. Because he used to train with you. That was a long time ago. He remembers and he's angry." Emily stood, took the drive. "I go in alone." "We assumed you would." Emily walked toward the door. The woman added, "If you fail, you die as Echo, not Emily." Emily didn't turn around. Then it's a good thing I never missed. The warehouse sat near the edge of the docks. Rust coated the metal doors. Lights flickered from inside, irregular and cold. No security cameras, no visible guards. That meant two things. Whoever was inside didn't want surveillance and didn't need it. Emily parked 3 blocks away. No rush, no noise. She changed clothes in the back seat. All black, no logos, no exposed skin. She tied her hair back with surgical precision. Checked the weapon. Compact, silenced. Not for spray, for placement. She walked the side streets. Feet light, breath slow, every step measured, every sound mapped in her mind. By the time she reached the back entrance of the warehouse, she was already part of the dark. There was a keypad on the service door. Standard 6-digit, nothing special. Except, it blinked in a rhythm she remembered. 3 short, 2 long, 1 pause. It was a training sequence. Unit 9, Ven's pattern. She smiled. He was mocking her, or testing, or both. She pulled a small device from her pocket, pressed it to the keypad. It hummed, clicked, stopped. Door unlocked. Inside, the air was heavy. Old oil, steel, dust, and something worse, gun oil. She moved between stacks of crates, eyes scanning, ears open. It was quiet, too quiet, but she knew this silence. It wasn't absence, it was anticipation. A voice broke the air. They said you were rusty. Emily froze. They were wrong. She turned slowly. Silas Venn stepped out from behind a column, thicker than before, scar over his right eye, gloves on both hands. He held no weapon. But that didn't mean he wasn't armed. They said you retired, he continued. Started feeding cats, trimming hedges. Maybe I did, Emily replied. Maybe I should have stayed in the jungle. She narrowed her eyes. Then why didn't you? He grinned. Because they sent me your file. I thought I was burned. You were, but someone lit the ashes. He stepped closer. I wanted to see if you still moved like music. Emily tilted her head. I only dance when it matters. Then, he charged. No warning, no stance, just force. She dropped, rolled, came up low, fired once, missed. He was already spinning. A punch to the ribs. She absorbed it, kicked back, hit air. They circled. Not a fight, a rhythm test. He threw a punch. She stepped in, trapped the arm, twisted. He didn't wince. Instead, he headbutted. Emily staggered. He laughed. You're slower. She wiped blood from her lip. You're louder. Then she moved. 3 steps, low angle. Shoulder into ribs. They hit the crate wall hard. He tried to grab her wrist. She slipped under. Ducked, elbowed his spine. He groaned. Still a ghost. Still a hammer, she answered. He pulled a blade, small, curved, close quarters. Emily exhaled, dropped her gun, empty anyway. She stepped in, hands bare. Time slowed. He swung. She pivoted, slapped his wrist, grabbed his shoulder, drove a knee into his thigh. He roared, spun, cut her side. Shallow. She didn't react. She spun behind him, grabbed the back of his head, slammed it into the crate. Once, twice. He fell, but not unconscious. He rolled, grabbed her ankle, yanked. She fell, caught herself on her elbows, kicked up, hit his chin. They both scrambled, breathing hard, bleeding, but eyes still locked. Why'd you come alone? He asked. Because I knew you would. You could have walked away. So could you. He chuckled. We both know how that ends. She nodded. With silence. She moved again. 1 strike. 2. A trap. A counter. Then, she wrapped his arm. Pulled. Twisted. Dislocation. He screamed. She followed up. Elbow to jaw. Knee to gut. He dropped. She stood over him. It's over, Silas. He laughed through blood. Nothing's ever over. She knelt. It is for you. He looked at her. Not hate, just acceptance. You still dance. Only when it matters. She pressed her fingers to his throat, held until his eyes closed. Then, silence, the kind that felt permanent. She stood, steady, looked down at him, then walked to the far wall, opened a crate, pulled a burner phone, dialed. One ring. "It's done," she said. No name, no location, just finality. She tossed the phone, lit a flare, dropped it in the crate, walked out. Behind her, flames. No alarms, no panic, just fire and memory. It took less than an hour for the warehouse to burn to the ground. No one responded to the fire. No one called it in. No one claimed it. Just ashes, heat, smoke that curled into the night sky like a secret finally exhaled. Emily didn't go home. Not right away. She drove to a storage unit 40 miles north, keyed in an old access code. The metal door groaned open. Inside, a plain suitcase, a folded windbreaker, and a manila envelope marked, "For if I break." She opened the envelope. Inside, a birth certificate, a driver's license, and a letter. She read the letter once. Didn't cry, didn't react, just burned it. Then folded the ID into her pocket. She changed clothes, put her old ones in a black bag, dropped it into the facility's incinerator chute, then walked back to the car. She returned to Maple Street at dawn. No one saw her come in. She parked behind the house, stepped through the back gate. The gray tabby was waiting, its ear still torn, eyes still watchful. It rubbed against her leg. "I know," she whispered. "I'm late." She unlocked the back door. Everything inside was untouched. The police had knocked, but no one had entered. The house was quiet, still, just like she'd left it. She made tea, not because she needed it, but because she always did. Routine mattered, even now, especially now. By 8 a.m., the neighborhood was waking up. Mr. Jenkins walked his dog, nodded at her porch. She raised her cup in reply. Mrs. Powell waved from across the street. Emily smiled, like always. No one asked where she'd been. No one mentioned the van, or the men, or the screaming. Everyone just moved on, like neighborhoods do. But Brandon didn't. The teenager from 3 doors down, the one who had watched from behind the hedge. He knocked on her door at noon. She opened it. He looked nervous. Hey, just checking in." "I'm fine," she said. "I figured. I mean, you took down, like, 3 dudes, in broad daylight." She didn't smile, didn't deny it, just waited. "So, like, what are you?" She tilted her head. "I'm your neighbor." "Yeah, but nothing. You saw what you saw. What you do with that is up to you." He hesitated. "Do they know you're back?" "No." "Will they come again?" She paused. "Not for a while." He nodded. "Okay, then, you're still gonna feed the cat?" She smiled, just slightly. "Always." He left, didn't look back. Days passed, then a week. Maple Street returned to its rhythm. Garbage days, lawn mowers, bird feeders, leaf blowers. Emily walked to the store, nodded to the clerk, fed the cat. One day she passed by a little girl drawing with chalk on the sidewalk. The girl looked up. "You don't talk much." Emily crouched. "I talk when it matters." "Are you a superhero?" Emily smiled again. "No, I just fix things." "Like what?" "Like broken rules." The girl giggled. "Can you fix my brother?" "He's mean." Emily stood. "Maybe not today." She walked on. The breeze picked up. Leaves rustled. The air smelled like rain that hadn't come yet. She liked that smell. It meant things could change. At home, she opened a book she'd already read 3 times, lit a candle, turned the page slowly. The cat curled beside her, purring. The wind knocked a branch against the window. She didn't flinch. Somewhere out there, another file was probably opening. Another name, another shadow. But it wasn't hers. Not anymore. Emily was still here, still the woman they waved at, still polite, still private. Just maybe, not harmless. And that was okay. Because sometimes, the most dangerous person in the neighborhood is the one who makes sure danger never knocks twice.